Welcome to Pitstop Fracas, episode 101. We're going to be doing some lessons out here today. First of all, before we get started and review the Dutch GP, please follow us on socials. Follow us on Pitstop Fracas on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. We want to hear all your words. And if you're listening on Spotify and Apple, give us your finest review, 5-star. Because we're going to get into it today. A lot to talk about this weekend. Probably one of the best races of the year. Firstly, I'm joined by Congo's finest, Chris. How you doing, brother?
All good. Repping the country. Yeah,
I'm
a mess. Man, burnt that carnival, yeah. Look, you guys enjoy your carnival hangovers. Like, we're here, we're podding, active. How are you, brother?
Yeah. I'm all good. We didn't want to give you the pod on, Monday morning because people are outside. It's bank holiday, so we said, okay, when you go back to work and you're depressed on a Tuesday, we're gonna come bring you the actual realness. You get me? And we're joined by Aston Martin representative Rafa.
Hello.
How we doing, brother? It's been a while.
It's been a little while. Your boy's been under the weather over the weekend, but your boy's here to give you some home truths. And secondly, you're wearing a Congo shirt, Chris. What have you done at AFCON, bro? Where's AFCON trophies?
That's unnecessary. That's a crazy shot.
We finished top 3 the other year. I don't remember what the other year was, but it's within the past 10 years we were top 3, so I'm good.
I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. Congo not ballers. But yeah, I'm here, man.
Sorry, they produced Balassi. Show some respect.
Yeah, and Balassi was class after 28, so... How old are you now?
Yeah, that's ACLs in it, bruv. Don't worry. Yeah, we produced the most skillful fullbacks in the entire world, bruv. You've never seen a fullback do a rainbow flick.
Wait, what? AWB? No, please.
Nah.
AWB? No, please. We're gonna stop the football talk right now. Rafa, thank you for coming on because we needed an Aston Martin representative. Obviously, we have Richard, but Richard don't hype it up as much as you. You get me? I feel like you're the forefront. You're on the forefront of the Aston Martin talk on. I know you're going in there, you're going to Spanish Twitter, you're translating the Paella talk, you get me?
Yeah, so what you're telling me, he was an Alpine fan last season and he transferred over with the rest of the Spanish accounts.
Yeah. Listen, I led them over there. Moses through the Red Sea.
That was shameless because I remember there was an Alpine account and then they've turned into an Aston Martin account. Aston Martin updates. Don't think we don't see you. We see you full 4K.
They just
all he did is change the name.
Yeah, that's it.
Last year, no Ocon updates. Didn't hear nothing. This year, no Stroll updates.
They were beefing Ocon, They were beefing him.
Unbelievable.
Like that.
But another fantastic race weekend. Obviously, another Max Verstappen win. That's 9 in a row now. But a lot to break down this weekend, even though it's we've just returned from summer break. So straight away, qualifying. A lot happened in qualifying, guys. We had a damp track going into dry, so I think we started on inters, and it was really a skill test at this moment in time. The first big thing that we need to discuss is Lewis Hamilton out in Q2. Like, this is not normal. Like, Q3 is still going on. Lewis Hamilton is in plain clothes doing interviews. Yeah. Whose fault is it, Chris? Is it Mercedes? Is it Lewis? Is it a combination of both? Break it down for us, people.
It's a combination of both, but it's a fundamental problem that Mercedes have had all season. And I think it's one of the ones where people don't see things until it happens to Lewis Hamilton. So when it was happening to George and they were having communication problems and there was traffic problems, man were just laughing because they don't like George. Now it's happened to their favorite. They're like, hey, hold up, what's a minute? What's going on here? Why was this guy stuck in traffic every round? Why was this and that happening? And it's one where, like, Lewis didn't get the laps in per se, because I think every time I saw he was behind George, but I don't know whether that's because of traffic or just he wasn't getting it in. I can't say. But I know the last run was he got blocked by Yuki, and that's why he was out in Q2. But again, it shouldn't be that close or that tight. So I'm trying to understand why. But yeah, Mercedes had another howler where they just sending these guys in the traffic every week. And I know in Zandvoort it's a small track, so you're going to be in traffic somewhat. But if you're doing it at all these other tracks, it's gonna happen here anyway. You know, you have to be wary of the fact that it will happen.
Rafa, do you think like Mercedes are overthinking these things? They feel like they have to go out alternate times, they have to go out different times to everybody else to try and get the best out of their performance when it's just really not looking too good out there, because they seem to be on their fast laps when everybody's on cool down laps, and they're trying to be hipster about it, but it's not really working out with the timing. And look, at the end of the day, impeding. They got impeded by both Astons. You got impeded by Yuki Tsunoda, but you don't hear about situations of everybody else getting impeded. It has to go beyond bad luck, right? It has to go down to strategic timing of getting your car out there, right?
Yeah, but you know, this has been going on longer than just this year. I think even last year. And I think it stems last year Mercedes had an issue with their warming up their tires, so they had to always go with a double cool up. Double cool up, yeah. And then this year, bro, listen, I don't know if their radars are working, bro. I just think they're just sending man out on just a whim thing. Just go out now. Like listen, I don't think it's 50-50. I think the full blame goes on the team up Brackley. I just think the Mercedes, because this can't be happening. As Chris said, it's happened to George multiple times. You saw it happen in Barcelona. Like, there's just something operationally is not right at Mercedes. But because it's not that red team in Maranello, people don't speak about it as much. If this was Ferrari, we're hearing about this every single race weekend until the end of the season. But only now that's happened to the top dog, Lewis, in the team, people are just clocking onto it. But this has been going on for time, and something at Mercedes needs to change. And I don't know what, but something at Mercedes needs to change, because strategically, and we know we'll get onto this later, but strategically they're a mess. They're just a mess. So yeah, something needs to change at Brackley. It's just something.
Not only strategically, operationally.
Yeah,
like I did some analysis earlier in the week. Yeah, I don't know if you spotted it on Twitter, but I wanted to see like how many top 5 pit stops have they had since the start of the new regs. They've had 6. 6. Do you know how insane that is?
6. Bro.
That's less than Alpine. That's less than Aston Martin. That's like 1/3, not even 1/3, 1/8 of Red Bull. Let me get the numbers up, because this is insane.
Do you know why? I do know why people listen. People might say, "Oh, it's just pit stops." What pit stops give an indication of a small indication of how a team is cohesively. Because if your pit stop on point, it shows that the team works well. At least that area of the team works well. So having good pit stops shows that your team is cohesive. And this is what I want to say about Mercedes. And I've said this countless of times. They built one Hench engine in 2014. And they rode that engine up until these regs. Those cars they built from 2014 to 2021 carried them. And having a top driver like Lewis carried them to where they are now. Operationally, they are whack. They're up there with Alpine, they're up there with Ferrari. But Hamilton, and also since he's come to the team, George as well, has kind of not put it to bed, but it's papered over the cracks. But the cracks are showing now, because it's not every week that Lewis is going to pull something out the bag or George is going to pull something out the bag. These things, they continue to happen. It's going to rear their head, and it reared their head this weekend. And on the worst weekend of all, because Mercedes looked like they had actual genuine I won't say front running, but like genuine pace to where you think, you know what, they might be in and around Red Bull, Aston Martin, and grabbing podiums. This is the one weekend where you didn't want that, because a podium was right there for the taking. Ferrari were nowhere pace-wise.
You could see the pace because George qualified third as well. So it was there. But like I just said about the stats, about the top 5 fastest pit stops by teams since the start of 2022, we've got Red Bull with 42 appearances in the top 5. McLaren with 30, Ferrari with 29, Alpine with 18, Aston Martin with 13, and Mercedes with 6. These guys, you must be smoking if you're gonna see a pit stop from them guys that's under 2.5 seconds. There's no way. There's no way. They can't. They don't have the capacity to do it on a consistent basis. I didn't even analyze like Williams' that. I guarantee Williams got more. I guarantee. This is an indication. This is an indication that they're not doing their job properly.
They've never undercut anyone in their life, surely, with those things, bro. There's just like how I don't understand Mercedes at all.
Obviously, Chris, you're seeing it for 4K because you're seeing what they're doing to your driver. You're seeing what they're doing to George Russell. Is it a case of it's just the talent of the drivers just dragging this team to second in the constructors at the moment?
Yes, because we've seen in the other teams where, put it this way, out of the top, let's say, 5 teams, Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston Martin, and McLaren, the only team that can chat to Mercedes in terms of drivers is McLaren. The rest of these, man, like you have a Stroll, you have a Sainz, you have a Perez. They're not really levels. So it's like the paving over the cracks where at least if the team has a stinker, if your team has a stinker, Lewis and George can kind of make up for it and they'll be like somewhere next to each other. So until George had a retirement, he was next to Lewis. They were together in the points, even after having a stinker. Whereas, another driver had a stinker, he was out of the points, So it's like they're paving over the cracks. They're covering for these, man. But like at one point, you need to call HR and be like, bro, I'm doing this guy's job for him. I can't be killing myself covering for you guys inadequacies, because like we clown Ferrari pit stops, but if they're consistently faster than Mercedes ones, like what can you do? Is like it's better to be fast and make a mistake than just be slow every single time.
Do you know how much times when I was checking? Do you know how much times Ferrari was number 1 fastest pit stop? They're cooking. Ferrari are funny though, because it's either 8.9 seconds or it's the fastest pit stop. There's no in between. Yeah. There's literally no in between. So they know what they're doing, but it's just like they don't know what they're doing at the same time. And for me, I don't know when for us at Pitstop Fracas, we've kind of seen how the operational pit holes have been apparent for a while. And then once Red Bull was anytime near them in 2021, you could see the cracks that this ain't it, what you're doing, strategy wise. And then now the car isn't in a good place in 2022 and now 2023. It's just become like the norm, but it's always been the norm. It's just they had a car advantage, the driver advantage in Lewis Hamilton. So we're going to keep a close eye on it. I don't know if it's just going to be more of a running theme. People are maybe attributing it to James Val leaving, but people were cooking James Val when he's there. So
that's the funniest thing.
Don't really buy that one. People are trying to tell me he's better than. I saw a tweet saying that he's better than. Was it Toto Wolff? Are you having a laugh? We don't know that yet. Williams were operationally good anyway,
bro. James Val has done nothing at Williams. He's literally gone there. Just Capito's done a lot of the work, just clearing out, and basically it's flirt and be harassment. They've said the same things, but because James says it in a nice British accent and he speaks well and he comes from Mercedes and he's not some crazy German geezer, that people like it, bruv. It's flirt and be harassment. They've done the same thing.
Capito's a proven winner as well, so let's not talk. We can't even talk crazy with Capito's name.
He went in there and said, "Look, well, we have no equipment. You guys are sticking up to old ideals. We need to get rid of everything and change everything." But obviously, when you're the first person to do it, it don't slap the same than when someone else.
You know what I mean? Just because James Val can just switch it up and start speaking French fluent, everybody's like, "Oh, Val's educational." Flirting versus harassment. Trust me.
Listen,
them
in race comments from James Vowles don't move me, bro. I know who you are, bro.
I know your game.
I know
you're well spoken.
Exactly.
Man's doing job interviews every when they go to the pit wall.
Yeah. He gets gas. He gets gas saying, when Griff says, "Oh, we got James Vowles in the pit wall," and he just gets gassed. And listen, James Vowles, I know you came.
No, do you know what? To be fair, he's saying all the right things. Let's see the execution in the long term. I don't want to be too harsh on him. He's only just started the job, but we'll see where he's at.
I'm ready to be harsh because I remember when he did Lewis and Inshallah in Spain one time, bro. And he's like, "Yeah, I got this one wrong. Yeah, bail me out, bro."
Vowles is just whispering in Bono's ear, "Yo, just tell him hammer time, man. Tell man hammer time. He'll sort it out for us. Don't worry. He'll sort us. He'll look after us. He'll dig us out of this hole." Another key point in quali. I'm just gonna ask a simple question. I'm not gonna Chris. Actually, I'm gonna ask Chris because Chris is the Ferrari fan here, innit? So we've got a McLaren fan, we've got a Ferrari fan, we've got Aston Martin fan. Yeah. What's wrong with Charles Leclerc?
He cannot do mixed conditions at all. He's lost all ability to drive in mixed conditions, and every time it's been mixed conditions, I think, in apart from Spa, where he did all right.
Spa, he said in the thing, "I've sorted it out now. I fixed it."
Yeah, because he was like,
"Yeah, man, I don't know how to drive. I'm having problems in mixed conditions, but now I did okay." Then next mixed condition come through. He's like,
thinking again. I don't understand.
Let's be fair. Let's be fair, because he did mention and signs throughout the weekend at the beginning practice sessions that the car is basically undrivable. And they were having understeer, oversteer, and so on. Does that contribute to his poor performance in quali? For those who didn't watch it or didn't know, Charles Leclerc crashed out. Did it cause a red flag? I think it caused a red flag, right? So yeah, Charles Leclerc crashed out, ended up finishing 9th in quali. Do you attribute it to the car or do you attribute it to him?
That's on him, man. His teammate made it round. His teammate did a solid job. Like, there's no excusing it. He went into the corner too fast and just slid off and crashed. Like, it wasn't even like he hit some damp stuff and it kind of span off. He just went in too fast and just slid off and crashed. There's no excusing this one.
Saying we can't buy it. We can't buy that. We can't buy that. But isn't that another case of him overdriving?
Yeah.
Sainz understanding the limit of the car, saying, "You know what, this car's slow this weekend. Let me just accept that and let me just try and get through this." And Charles is not accepting that. He's like, "Nah, let me try and red line it."
He's trying to do hero ball for pole position. It wasn't on. Like, this is one of the ones where if you do a good clean lap, you can get maybe P5, P4. You know, like, you don't need to do the most.
But obviously, this must link to the frustrations of. I'm going to come to you, Rafa. This must come to the frustrations of the actual car itself and the backward step that they've taken in Ferrari. Like, he's maybe not accepting that. Look, he's had this car that was a beast. I've had a pole this year, and now I'm probably on the balance of it. Ferrari was like the 6th fastest car this weekend.
Nah, I used to buy that story. I used to back in the day, and then I looked into the archives. I've seen others struggle Ferraris, and they weren't doing the same things that Charles Leclerc's doing. You can have a poor car, and you get it. The guy is frustrated, but all we're simply asking him to do is keep the car on track. If you get P6 in a Ferrari, no one's going to be like, "You've done a terrible job." Yeah? There's no need, as Chris said, there's no need for this hero ball. The car is... Listen, I saw some reports. They put a lot of took a lot of downforce off the car, and that's why it's one of the fast in the speed traps. And I don't understand why Ferrari would do that, considering this is not a straight line speed track, but they did it anyway. And yeah, I get Charles frustrated, but brother, keep the four wheels on the track. If you can't drive on the limit 24/7, bro. You can't. It's impossible. There's no driver, that's driven a car 24/7 on the limit and not binned it. If you continue to do that, you will bin it more often. It's just simple as that. If you look at the top drivers throughout F1 history, if you look at your Prosts, your Schumachers, your Hamiltons, your Alonsos, they've driven at times with spare capacity, because sometimes they realize that, look, the car's not supposed to be today, but let me just get this. Let me just be on the side of caution at times, just because I understand I'm in this valid position. I don't want to risk it. It's no one's gonna look down on you if you qualify in P7 and the car's not good. We know the car's not good. We're not gonna expect you to get pole every single race weekend, Charles. It's not possible. Just relax behind the wheel. And this is the crux of the issue, and this is the problem I've had with Leclerc, because he wasn't always like this. He wasn't. And it's a lack of temperament from the guy. It is. I've seen him back in the day in 2019 hold off two Mercedes behind him in Monza. I've seen him drive under pressure, and I've seen him excel. But ever since last year, ever since the title fight that lasted 6 races, he's been acting different. And he just cut it out. Because I'll say this, I believe he's a talented and fast driver. No one can deny that. He's one of the fastest guys in the F1. You all understand that. We all can see that. We all got eyes. But brother, install some driving IQ for just a little bit. That's what he needs. Driving IQ and temperament. Those are the 2 things he's lacking. It's just simple.
Do you think his fans will accept that?
No. No. I told you, hey Mahad, listen, Monsters this week, I'm telling you, they are active this week. They got a new race suit and everything. The pressure's gonna be on them.
I've already seen on the timeline a Monza comp, Leclerc Monza comp. Like, yeah, brother, Barrichello won there twice in Ferrari. Please, this guy is not even the best in Monza, man. Please be serious, man. People go on. As a Ferrari fan, Chris, do you hold any affinity to that win? That Monza win?
Nah, because I don't hold affinity to any of the wins in 2019 because we 2019, yeah, it's a bit of a we ignore that year. Like we basically 2018, then we skip to 2022. The rest 2019, 2020, 2021, I ignore everything that happened with that Ferrari because boy, it was a big.
They didn't hide their cheating because they're dumb. How are you the fastest in Spa and then you're the fastest at Singapore? They're 2 different tracks.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't deep that, You're right. Yeah,
I was like, huh?
Yeah.
But then you were slow. You were slow in what was it? You were slow at another track that was exactly like Singapore, and now all of a sudden you're fast at Singapore. No aero changes.
Listen. It was 2019 USA. Yeah, and I remember them putting the meatiest performance ever. I said, yeah, these men have been caught red-handed, like Juve in 2006. These man got caught so badly. They paid the FI off though. They did.
No. But you know when I knew? Do you know when I knew? When Max and Lewis were saying, "Yo, that car is a bit," someone needs to check that. Both of them, 2 different teams. Someone needs to check that team out because they weren't like that at the beginning.
No. Do you know what's funny? Yeah, if you watch Leclerc's pole lap in Spa, yeah, he was hitting no apexes, bruv. He was just missing every apex. It was ugly. The car was so fast on the straight line. Was like, yeah. Then in 2020, yeah, with a dusted engine, he did a fastest time in Sector 2. I said, yeah, bro, that engine was something else, bruv.
I tell you one thing, yeah, a lot of people, yeah, obviously Charles Leclerc is a fast quality driver and everything like that. Do you know what I'm saying? And people are like, they applauded him, they're like, unbelievable lap, and it is an unbelievable lap. But I'm telling you now, some of the ugliest driving you ever see in your life.
I
tell you right
his
now,
driving style,
insane,
ugly,
and I'm like, no elegance to it. It's not man's not doing a Lewis Singapore pole position. No elegance to it. Man's just like, I want to write this thing off right now.
You know what? I was obviously to all the people watching. I watch old races, watch old qualies. I love quali laps, and I remember watching Hackenen's quali laps in the mid-late 2000s. I was watching even Schumacher's and Lewis's. You know what? Even though he's not a great qualifier, even though Alonso's laps, and then I look at Charles' laps, brother, it's like putting the Mona Lisa right next to a 2-year-old's painting, bro. Like there is no, when certain men are taking corners, they there's some essence. There's some of him, bruv. Nah, he's driving.
You know what it is? It's like Max. It's like
Crash
Max
Bandicoot.
Verstappen. It's like Max Verstappen in Jeddah, just all the time.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen in Jeddah, I understand the context of it because it was desperation. So that's why he was doing that lap, yeah. But not every day do that lap.
No, you can't, bro.
Man's doing them laps for P7. What are you doing? Just relax, man.
Relax. Like, P7.
Have some margin.
Bro, that's 4 points. P7. What are you doing for P7, G? Come on, man. Leclerc, bro, listen, Leclerc, if you're somehow listening to this, and I pray to God that you are, because this is what you need to hear, G. Yeah. I don't, do you know where he is at the moment? He is a slower and more crash-prone driver than, I'll say, you know when Lewis and Nicole broke up in like 2011, and Lewis went on that mad run. And you know what?
When Lewis was like in Monaco, it's because I'm black, innit?
Yeah, exactly. And that whole season,
he tried to kill Massa.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. When Lewis said because I was black, yeah, that's the day I became the 100% I invested in Lewis. Everything in my heart was invested.
But all I'm saying is, I'm just saying, yeah, Leclerc had a ting going into the season, I think, and now he doesn't have a ting. Listen, Leclerc.
This ain't. We're not doing this.
I'm just saying
Shade Room Fracas, bro.
I'm just saying Leclerc. Yeah.
This ain't Shade Room Fracas, man.
My brother. We've all been there. G. A breakup can change you, and we know.
No.
But when you go past the turnstiles at the track, when you go past the turnstiles,
like Stormzy.
Exactly.
Okay.
We've got 4 songs about his babe, bro. Yeah, he's gonna get her back. He dropped 4 tunes like Marvin's Room, bro. He thinks he's slick, bro. I know, bro. Breakups change you.
Cups in a rose.
Exactly.
Do you know what?
Listen,
I want. Yeah, for just Leclerc fans to understand, because Leclerc is a talented driver. I'm not going to deny that. What I want you to observe is how other drivers drive when they don't have a fast car. Observe what Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris was doing when they didn't have a fast car earlier this year. They were not doing what he's doing in terms of crashing a car left, right, center out of frustration that the car can't drive the way they're doing it. They just know the fact that, look, we need to get this home and maybe somehow, some way we can get some points this weekend. And he never took that approach. Guess what? Sainz took that approach. Fair play. Sainz is a slower driver than Leclerc, but he maximized the situation this weekend.
Sainz done well, man. Sainz done well. But listen, what you just said here, I don't mean to do Alonso proper, obviously I do, but you know what you should do? He's a mariner, though. They got the takes of 2012 there. Just watch 2012, G. That's what you need to do. Watch the 2012 season, yeah, and that's just what you need to do.
No. When 2012, he wasn't driving like a tractor. We're not
going
to do that.
I'm just saying he needs to just learn. Yeah, when you got a slow,
from losing seasons, bro.
Don't worry about it.
Man said, learn from a failed test. You know why are you trying to copy a failed test?
Nah. It wasn't a failed test. It was a moral victory.
Well, you could have said 05. That was the slower car. You get me?
I could have said 06 as well, but listen, I want him to learn from home truths. It happened in his backyard, bro. Come on, man. Or Schumacher before 2000. I know you don't like that one, Mahad, but I'm right.
Schumacher,
Schumacher
was a terrorist in the mid-90s.
Yeah, but he was like from 96 onwards. He wasn't a terrorist. He was class.
Bro. Villeneuve had his head on Mars. He couldn't believe what was going on. He said, "This brother come from IndyCar and he's trying to dunk on my head."
Yeah, but Villeneuve had that Williams was moving, boy.
I know that now. Yeah, it weren't moving for Damon Hill. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, because David Hill weren't moving them times, bro. We need to talk about that guy as well.
We're gonna have a revision. We're gonna go back old school, off season.
He thinks he can get away quick.
Talking about Williams. No, talking about Williams. There was another guy that crashed in quali in the Dutch Grand Prix, and I feel like we need to have a conversation about him. Logan Sargent. Chris, is all the pressure warranted on Logan Sargent at the moment?
Yes, but it's not his fault because he got into Formula One a year too soon. Like he needed 1 more year of F2 to kind of calm down and get used to high-powered machinery. But when you're in F1, we know the rules. As a rookie in F1, you need a couple of performances to kind of be like, yeah, this guy can cook, but like give him time to develop. But he can cook. Like all jokes aside, like I get onto Yuki, but his debut in Bahrain, in Abu Dhabi, he finished P4. He showed some ability. Like you sit there and went, yeah, go, oh yeah, he can cook. We saw it with Lando, we saw it with George. Like you've seen it with Albon, you know, like every rookie worth time, you've seen at least one performance that said, yeah, this brother can cook. Like you could go. Logan hasn't delivered that. Like he did all right in Bahrain, but like these are tracks you're supposed to know. Like you've been racing the European circuit for how many years? You need to put it together here and show, yeah, I got something about me. Right now, it looks nasty. It's just like you got to Q3 and then you bin it. It's like, like this is like your moment to be like, yeah, you men are putting me under pressure. Shut your mouth, like don't talk to me. But instead, he's crashing, and now, you know, people who are sniffing for sneaks are like calling James Valve on the phone. You know, sweet talking man on the phone, like, you know, in the morning, you know, deep voice and that, sending the voice note, like, be like, yo, James, like, I see Logan's crashed again. Like, I got something for you.
I got a driver for you. He'll pay. Trust me, he'll pay.
Money, brother. Daddy's rich.
Lord have mercy. No, listen. It's in the best interest of the Rilliton Capital, whatever, to have an American driver, right? I agree. I watched Formula 2 last year, yeah. I agree that Logan, and I watched Formula 3 the year before that. I agree Logan Sargent's a talented individual, yeah. And I feel like it was too soon because he wasn't constantly fighting at the front of F2 because he didn't have the machinery in F2 either.
Yeah.
So put him in a proper car in F2, put him in a Prima, put him in a ART, let me see what he's about. So he could actually go for a title like how Paul Che's doing it right now. So obviously they wanted that big name. I think there may be some pressure from Liberty Media to kind of get an American driver in there, but it's too soon. And now we're looking at him like he's meaty, but I don't really think he was that meaty in general. He's not. It's just you put a guy that's not ready, he's half baked. It's like putting a F3 driver in F1 right now. You can't do that,
bro. Listen, he's just got to stop listening to the national anthem during races because I know in his headset, yeah. Oh, say, can you see? But it's just playing every minute, brother. Relax in the car.
He got too excited. He got into Q3 first time. Congratulations, I rate it. Knocked out Lewis Hamilton.
Class,
respect it.
You know what though? I do think there is, as you said, I do think there is talent there. Yeah, but again, I do think it's too soon for him, bro. You know in America, bro, they hold man back grades at school. You know, like sometimes you go from the can't go from the 4th grade to the 5th grade. Sometimes they got to hold you back in grade. G. He needs to hold back another 4th grade.
Mark Simpson sentence.
Has an F1 driver ever been relegated back to F2?
No chance.
Roman Grosjean and Giorgio Canto. They were in
but did Grosjean have a full seat, like contracted 1-year seat?
No, he just came in for basically when they sacked Nelson Piquet, they just put him in the seat and said, "Yeah, go have fun."
But then, go back to F2. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, because he wasn't good enough.
But not like Logan. That Logan situation never happened where the man's done a full F1 season, then they put him back.
No.
But he might be the American Grosjean, you know, just deep in it.
I reckon he should just go in IndyCar and cook.
Yeah, man. Just stick to home cooking, G. Listen, America. He knows America's a great country.
The door's still open. You can come back to F1. Right. I don't think he's terrible. Nick DeVries was horrible.
He's all right. He's all right. I think even at Jeddah, he slightly had a good qualifying. Like he's shown small glimpses of like decent quality, but yeah, he's too much of a diamond in the rough. Like too much. Like he's so much of a diamond in the rough that you can't even tell it's a diamond, bro. Like that's what he is.
I think people underestimate how much of a mental game F1 is.
Yeah.
You can have all the talent in the world. If the mental ain't there, look at someone like Oscar Piastri. This guy acts like he's 50 years old, man. Like he's been there, done that. Like, nothing phases this brother at all. But when you're young,
he goes to bed at 8 p.m. every day. He goes to bed at 8 p.m. I know that for a fact. He's never been out in London. He's never been Shoreditch. He's never been anywhere. I don't know how in Melbourne, but the guy is
he's from the 1950s. He's Jim Clark,
bro. Yeah, literally. Even look at his trim. Look at this. There's no fade. It's just no. Look at his trim. That is a man that does his homework on time and goes to bed early. Has his
Everybody's
studies in the morning, bro.
They were asking the McLaren drivers, "Oh, what did you do? Someone break?" Da, da, da. And then like Lando's like, "Yeah, when I beef or da, 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 whatever." Yeah, my man said, "Yeah, I went holiday." Oscar said, "I went holiday with my girlfriend in Portugal. A couple of days. They went back to England." Normal guy.
He's an Aussie guy. He plays cricket at the weekends. I saw the videos. Like the guy, bro. Hey, listen,
But then that's how you should approach it. Like when you are young and you haven't got that experience. Logan could have had that experience in F2 this year. It's very competitive field. He would have had that. He would have had the pressure of like having to perform and like you're in the lead of the championship and stuff like that. And he was robbed of that opportunity because F1 wanted the American driver. And I don't want people thinking that Logan's absolutely reeks and whatever. And that he might be technically the worst driver in F1 right now, but it's not like a Nick DeVries situation where Nick DeVries is just, this is not his level.
But you know what?
And he's 28 years old.
The thing is, the reason I'm not going to cook him too much is because I actually had no real expectations of him coming into the season anyway. I didn't think he would get really close to Albon, and he's not. Like, I expect him to have 1 or 2 crashes anyway. So I didn't have I'm not saying I don't think he won't be good, but I didn't have like high expectations. Like I had high expectations of Piastri coming in because I just feel like the guy is built for F1. Like nothing phases him. Nothing phases the guy. Bro, I remember I think he had an early DNF. Was it Belgium? Bro, the guy was calm. Like he understands F1. And I think Logan doesn't really understand it. He let stuff get to him. Look at him yesterday. Man was on a deck chair for 50 races in the rain. I don't know if there was
50 laps in the rain, helmet on.
The rain, bro. He's not gonna drive at Monza anymore. He's got a cold. He's got a cold right now. Man was in the rain for that long. You know,
man said he got your pneumonia, you know.
Exactly.
He said, "Fuck it, I'm getting pneumonia. I'm missing the next race, man."
Man's
No, but
24.
let me say this because I don't think people understand. Yeah, what Albon is doing to Logan is stat padded. Same way Max Verstappen was stat padded on his head. It's exactly the same thing because Albon weren't ready either. Not say Albon was shit. He just weren't ready for that level. Yeah. To be driving in the top car after 6 months of a rookie. Being a rookie 6 months and then you're in the top car.
Against Verstappen.
Against Verstappen.
Yeah. I can't lie. That back end of 2019, was it 2019? Yeah, it was. Yeah, he stunk. He
didn't stink. He was good.
He was all right.
No, 2020. Was it 2020? Sorry.
2020. There was like, was it Eiffel GP? That's one of the worst performances I've ever seen of a driver.
Worst performance I've ever seen. Yeah. That's it. And
was that Nürburgring, innit? Stunk.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunk. I couldn't believe it.
And you can say the same thing about Gasly as well in 2019. He wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, and this is the same. Like, I know everybody is rating Albon now, and he's doing a fantastic thing, but he's stat pattern against Sargent. I wouldn't look at any comparison stats with Sargent.
No. It's very fair, and you know, get how you live in it. I've seen Bear drive a stat pad. You know, I think half of the drivers on the grid have stat padded.
Yeah, Norris stat padded last year.
Norris stat padded against Danny Rick. George stat padded against.
Hey, that George stat pad on the TV was crazy as well, by the way. That was crazy. He stat padded so much. He gave Latifi points to Hungary. He said, "You know what? Here, take some points, G. Like you're not a threat to me. You can, bro. That's a mad."
He said, "Do that. I'll be P2 next race. Don't worry."
Literally,
I'm gonna collect my points.
That's a hefty. He collected his points. He done like what 3 or 4 laps by the safety car and got his points. Like
yeah, but like I said, Logan, I don't think he's probably going to retain that seat, which is unfortunate. But I still think he's got a long career in racing, and I think there might be a path for him back in F1. But and well done for getting into Q3. He's putting stuff together. Let's see how Williams perform in Monza, because they might be cooking something crazy.
I think Monza sees do or die race. If in Monza he cooks, he can get a new contract.
I need to see that 10th place.
Yeah. If he flops in Monza,
I
think even James would be like, bro, we can't carry this on.
Monza's the most basic track as well. That's an F4 track, bro.
There's like 3 corners.
That's them tracks that you're driving when you're 15.
Hey,
All these drivers know it.
hey, listen. He is, this is Scott Speed. Yeah, that's what he is, G.
Oh, it's not Scott Speed because
It's-
Logan grew up in the Logan grew up in the European karting scene. It's not like a thing where he came from IndyCar and that, or he's from the American scene. This guy was in he was teammates with Lando Norris. Like this guy grew up in the European scene, so he knows these tracks. So we expect higher.
I look. You think he's getting another contract? I don't think internally there's. I know there's room, but I don't see why there'll be that much pressure. The guys, people like William surely must know he's not ready. Just give the guy some time. You know what? I have enough. This is the problem with one. They don't. Young drivers, if they don't do well, they don't get too much time, and I don't like that. I know F1's but some drivers can come good. Different situations. I like how F1's cutthroat, but sometimes it's even more cutthroat than it needs to be, man. What happened to the times where you give a driver some time to just ease into things?
I think the problem is about easing in people is there's levels. You have to show some sort of performances, like multiple performances to basically go, we forgive the 5 crashes because you cooked here 3 times.
Yeah, he ain't got that. He ain't got that.
Oscar
could be mid for the rest of the year. He's already got it.
Yeah, he's banked.
Yeah.
Like you have to bank something, and that's what he hasn't done yet.
You know,
which is why
if he gives two good performances, I think they keep him. 2.
Yeah,
2's all I ask.
Well, we'll keep it. We'll keep an eye on that and see what's going on with that. Still, I stand corrected about the teammate thing. It was Colton Hearn that was Lando's teammate, not Sargent. But I knew it was an American. But anyways, we're gonna talk about the race because the race was an interesting one. There was I was watching the F2, and it was chucking it down, and then it looked like there was another cloud in the distance as well. And I said, "That's coming for the F1 race." Tell you right now, so these guys better prepare. And guess what? Lap 1 chucked it down. I'm actually quite surprised that nobody on their radar decided, let me start on the Inters.
No one done a Marcus Winkelhock, bro.
Nobody just decided, because somebody in the F2 race did that, and they cooked. Yeah. I'm like, if somebody just started on Inters, I'm talking, you could have had like a 40-second buffer. They would have been long gone.
Chilling.
Because it's not like you can't drive on Inters, especially when it's raining and when it's actually falling down.
Bro, all of
them men have to box anyway. Everybody has to box. So you'd be gone. You have a clear track in front of you.
I don't know how someone right at the back, like,
just took the risk.
Like, what's this? Magnussen was starting P18 because he took an engine change. Well, yeah, that would have cooked.
Do you think Haas have a weather radar? Are you mad?
Bro, come on.
Yeah,
man, I got weather radar. What are you talking about?
What do you mean they don't have a?
They got iPhone weather app.
Like just Gene Haas, just
they got
so
a
much.
Rubber dinghy in the ocean. Go like this, bro.
Gene Haas calls in it. Hey, boys, I know you don't rain, but I think it's gonna rain in like 5 minutes. So maybe 6 minutes on. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, they got no bread. They ain't cooking like that at all.
They ain't got no bread, but yeah,
started to truck it down. Some decided to come in immediately after lap 1. Some decided to brave out there 2 laps, 3 laps, and just continued. And I'm going to say this right now because a lot. When a situation is that every person on every team is complaining about the strategic disaster class, yeah, I think it might have been more difficult than most people think it is as an audience. I think people are like, yeah, my team stink. Look, they did that. But when nearly, I say 70% of the teams, 80% of the teams at least fucked up for one of their drivers. Yeah. I put more blame on the teams that made both their drivers fuck up. Yeah. But I feel like you've had precedents here because wasn't it the Belgian sprint race where everybody just jumped in for Inters because it started raining on the first lap? So we've literally just done this scenario. We've already done this scenario and every bare man boxed. So I don't understand why you're thinking, oh yeah, maybe it's light, maybe it's not light. You've seen Zandvoort all weekend. None of the rain has been light. Not once. Not once. So Sergio Perez boxes perfect. Strategy wise, Red Bull got it spot on with Sergio Perez. Obviously, Max Verstappen, they left him out a lap, but obviously they just don't want to do double stack because it's such a short track, and you don't want to give up position as well. Let's firstly talk about. We're gonna go for each team's strategic mistake. Yeah, Mercedes. Chris, what's going on with Mercedes? What's cooking? What was their decision making?
You know how we talked about Haas using the weather app? Yeah, Mercedes legit used the weather app because they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be a light rain. Gonna last 2 minutes. We can keep on pushing." Number one, they knew it was gonna rain and put Lewis Hamilton on mediums. They gave that brother no chance because if you know it's gonna rain right away, why is he on mediums?
I don't understand. Was he the only driver on mediums?
Yes, the only one.
Every single person knew. I think it was like 80% chance that it was going to rain. Why are you putting him on mediums? He's not doing a long stretch. So what's the point?
And then they thought they could fug it out, yeah. So they messaged George, and George was like, "Oh, because you guys told me beforehand it's gonna be a light bit of rain. I'll firm it." Forgetting that it was raining yesterday, and it took Q1 and Q2 for the track to dry. Why did you think the track was gonna dry quickly? Where was the common sense? Like sometimes these guys look at so much data, they forget common sense. And you left these men out there. And then Perez pitted on lap 1 and was going 20 seconds a lap faster than everyone, yeah? And you don't think, hey, this guy's going faster than us. We might have to box, you know? They kept these guys out there for lap 3 and then lap 4. By which point, it was way too late. You might as well just stick out on the drives and just say, we messed up, guys.
It doesn't make sense. If Sergio Perez pitted on the first lap, yeah, he was quite high up there as well, yeah. The second he comes out of that, the pit lane, and I see that sector 1 time, the mini sectors of sector 1, I'm boxing. I'm telling man box. That's all you got to do because someone's already doing the experiment for you. You can see that Sergio Perez is boxed. So you see the last mini sectors of sector 1. You're probably in beginning sector 3, box. Not go around 2 other laps. So obviously Hamilton got shed because he started on mediums. He boxed first onto inters.
Yeah.
George just decided I'm going to stay out there. I don't know whether that's his own decision.
Mix of both. Because he was like, I'll brave it out. You guys told me it's going to be a quick bit of rain. It wasn't a quick bit of rain. It was a light bit of rain.
I say this, and I've said this before on this pod. When it's from going from dry to wet, your strategic team has to be on point. If it's the other way around, then it's on the driver. If it's going from wet to dry, your driver's supposed to tell you, okay, this track is drying up now, box me. Yeah, he makes the decision. When it's the other way around, how is George Russell going to know about the rain? If it's light or not. Absolute stinker. So they put him out there for long. And then he finally boxed, and where was he, like P19?
It was like P18. Basically, it was only people that didn't box at all that were behind him.
Stinker. Absolute stinker. Because once you get past a certain point, yeah, there's no point in boxing. You might as well just stay out on softs. It doesn't make any sense. Like what? Okay, we'll move on to the other team. My team, McLaren. Yeah, absolute howler because we're P2. I said this before, and I said this previously. Yeah, if you don't know what to do strategically, just copy Max Verstappen. That's all I'm asking you to do. Just tell Lando if Max boxes, you box. If you don't box, don't box. Mirror everything. If you're not sure, because we've had this scenario already about this rain stuff. Like, just box. And they did make up. They made up for the situation with Oscar because they told Oscar stay out because they knew it was too late. Because the boxing Oscar was a headache. Oscar's whole situation was Oscar was on softs, and then when it started to dry out, he cooked his tires trying to overtake Magnussen, so he effed up his race. If he kept them softs good, he would have got an easy top 8 finish, but he didn't. That's a whole separate scenario. That's more on the that's strategy then driver. But with Lando Norris, they just cooked him from the jump. They finished his race.
You hear the radio?
He said, "This is
he
not
was
going to dry
fuming.
out. I know the rain is not going to dry out. Can I box?" They're like, "No, you're faster than the guys on Inters. Stop chatting shit. You saw the millisectors of Sergio Perez. How on earth is you faster?"
They're lying, bro. That is
They're
that
absolutely lying.
that
No,
might
no,
be
but
sabotage.
I put it on Lando as well, because Lando low key should have done what Leclerc did.
No.
I feel like he should have just boxed.
No. You do what Yuki did and go box. The guy says, "No, stay out." Yuki said, "Intermediates, box." And then he came, and then they're like, box, and he came in.
There's a
You
reason why
haven't told
Yuki was high up where he was. Yuki was like way high. Because
He told the team what to do. But he gave them enough time that they can react. That's
So
what Charles
Leclerc-
failed to do.
Leclerc didn't. Leclerc
That's when
just
he crossed the car.
came in the pit lane and said box. He's already in the pit lane.
That's on him. That is on him.
You know, Rafa, people are gonna blame Ferrari and say clown
No.
show again with the pit stops.
No,
I've
brother.
never heard in my life say box, and you're in the pit lane and
Bro.
you're braking.
Okay, Mahad, that's like me.
Put pit limiter on. Yeah, man said box.
That's like me coming to your house and just knocking on the door just to come in. I didn't even drop you a message. I'm just coming to your house. Nah, G.
No, that's it's not even like that. It's saying I'm coming to your house and I expect dinner already.
Exactly. Bro.
What do you mean dinner? I haven't put anything. I didn't know he was coming, brother.
Hey, he came with an appetite and didn't even tell them man what to cook. He didn't even say put a bit of rice on the stove. He just turned up there expecting food, bro. The only time that is acceptable is if it's a cookout and you've been invited. He wasn't invited to cookout. Cookout was closed. Ferrari wasn't ready. That's on him. I'm sorry to do this, yeah, but to any Leclerc fans watching, that's on him. That is on him.
And one thing I was confused about as well, yeah, they saw him have damage.
Did
Leclerc know he had damage or Ferrari knew he had damage? He got damage on lap 1 with Oscar. His wing was dusted.
And that was his fault as well, by the way. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, that's
Just
debatable.
saying.
But
nah, man, he tried to do a thing and he smacked in the side of Oscar. That's on him.
That's on him.
okay, why didn't they change the wing?
Because they were panicking, bruv. Because there was one where like man just pulled up to the box and they're like, "Oh shit, we don't have tires, we have nothing ready." Like the wings in the back, like it doesn't have stickers on it. Like, these men were fried.
Because technically,
technically,
Leclerc did the right thing, and Leclerc could have got a podium out of this, low-key. Because if the pit stop was quick and they had the tires there, he would have come out the same time as Perez, and they would have cooked. He would have had that time advantage. He was right behind Perez.
Yeah, but that's a communication thing. Because if they know, they can come out and that. Not necessarily have to be ready, but you're there. These men were just sat down, like watching. They're watching Max on the screen. They weren't watching. These
men were watching Serie A, man. It was on at the same time, G. They're watching like I don't know who played yesterday. Napoli.
They're watching Monza.
Yeah, bro. They're watching. They're definitely watching Sign as well. You know what? I did say it was all on them, but that's true, bro. I can't lie. I saw one mechanic. Man had his legs crossed on the thing. You know when you're just sitting there with one leg on your knee. Yeah.
Do you know what's so funny as well? People say, like Anik said in the chat, "Oh, he saw other people pitting. They should be ready." Literally, only Perez was in front of him. Only one person, and Perez is the pit stop before. It's the first box area because they won the constructors, and Ferrari are second.
Yeah, but we know.
So who came in the pit lane for them to know?
We know Anik.
It was only Perez and Leclerc were the first people to go to the pit lane. What are you talking about?
We know how Anik has bad sources.
Anik, man, I've caught you 4K again. Stop this.
And Anik was the Leclerc accounts harassing Nam on the pit stop account.
Anik has bad sources, man. He has bad sources.
Because he's not watching the race, man. He like same way you don't watch football matches, you don't watch the race. He's listening to live radio. Radio 5 Live. At the end of the day,
he's not listening. He's just seeing the radar thing with just the bed. You know, in the game, you just see
the game where he's looking at the radar, has no clue what's going on.
No clue,
and then we'll look at Aston Martin. They just said, "Yo, Lance vibes, go out there, do your thing."
His dad told them, "Give him no help." I'm pretty sure I think he said, I think I need to come in. I need to box. No, Lance, you're good. Oh no, I think I need to box. No, Lance, no, you're good. No, I think I really need to box. I can't lie, they shagged, man. Because I think, listen, it's Lance's fault anyway. If you're quicker, they'll care more about you, I swear. If you're quicker, they don't care. You're not quick, so don't care, G. You're not getting points anyway. So they didn't care. They just said, listen, just do
No,
it.
there was a scenario where if he boxed the same time, he would have got points.
Nah, but listen,
Aston was cooking, man.
Nah, listen, you know what? Listen, I'm an Aston Martin representative, but you know when you have like a stinky player, like you have. I saw a tweet yours, Mahad. You're cooking Sergio Roberto this weekend. Yeah,
I've had enough. I know this is nothing related to F1, yeah, but I hate this man more than anybody in my life.
Listen. I know internally that's how they feel about Lance. Do you see the way his old race engineer used to speak to him? They're tired of this guy. I'm telling you.
No,
But
bring back Brad, bro.
Yeah, no. In all seriousness, yeah, they just left him out to die, bro. They just. Have you seen the film 24? Is it 127 hours? They just left him there.
When he's in the desert.
Yeah, they just left him there inside that rock. Yeah,
that's like Lance could sue them.
Yeah,
that's negligence. That's highest negligence I've ever seen.
They just left. That's right. He needs to claim negligence on his dad.
Lance negligence, Lando negligence.
Just left him.
Lando is more egregious because he was in P2, and they just said.
Like Lance, I remember hearing Lance, guys, like in his voice, guys, I think I need to box. Nothing happened. Nothing happened, bro. Nothing happened, bro. They didn't even walk outside to just get. They just left him, bro.
So from my understanding of that first bit, the only people that ate was Perez, Gasly, Alonso,
Sure.
Yuki, Joe,
and K-Mag.
and Alonso.
Are you ready to talk about that start? Are you ready?
Oh yeah, no, we let's go back to the start because Alonso cooked a couple, man.
Can I go?
Man.
Can I go, Mahad? Can I go?
You can go.
Let me get my free. Listen, can I just remind the people back home that Alonso is 42 years old. His freedom pass is loading next year. He's got a freedom pass coming in the post straight from Sadiq Khan next year. He doesn't even live in London. Yeah, it's coming next year. Did he? So let me just walk you through the start. He starts. His getaway actually wasn't that good, to be fair. It was a normal getaway, and then I think George in front of him pumped on the brakes. Alonso had to just take a step back, as you know he does with his awareness. Jumps on the brakes. He gets round turn one, and then he had science on his inside. And then what he just does round that bend, he just says, "I'm going to take the arterial line," and 2 overtakes done. Albon, George out of the way. I've said this multiple times. In wheel-to-wheel racing, in race starts, overtakes, there is simply nobody better than him in these situations. Throughout F1 history. That's it.
Throughout F1 history.
Who has better racecraft than him? Who? Name one driver.
Chris. Come through.
Chris who?
No, I'm saying Chris. I'm telling Chris, come. Tell me.
Yeah. Who?
Are we talking race starts?
Race starts, racecraft.
That's 2 different things.
Nah, it's the same for me. It's the same.
How is that the same thing? Race start and racecraft, 2 different things.
Racecraft is the major category, and race starts is a subcategory. Because it is craft at the end of the day. It might be a bit more but it might be a bit more opportunistic.
That's like saying dribbling and then flip flap. Flip flap is just an individual skill. Yeah,
but it's part of dribbling, though, isn't it? See, Chris is right. Chris is in 1960s now, looking for drivers. I can tell. His brains. I can tell.
This brother is about to say he's gonna say something crazy. He's gonna say Jackie Stewart.
He's
gonna do something crazy.
Jody Scheckter. Anybody.
Must said Jackie X racecraft.
I'll give it Nicky Lauda. Still. If you get race starts, you can find highlights of Nicky Lauda on YouTube on F1 TV app.
Hey, send a race starts.
See, race starts. I will allow
Jonathan
Alonso because he's good at race starts.
93, I hear that, but 06 Hungary was better. But anyway, it was, by the way, 06 Hungary. If you remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. I say it was equal though.
Nah, I think it's better
because Senna went for the lead and then dunks on over his head.
Yeah, Alonso was in the lead by lap 15. Where did Senna start?
Fifth, I think.
Fifth.
No, I'm checking that. Hold on. Man's testing my will knowledge. That's 93, fam.
Fifth.
I was a kid. I was a youth man. I watched that back. Donington Park. Where did he stop? Oh, hold on. He started fourth.
Nah, bro, I'm not hearing it.
Yeah, but why was Alonso 15th, bro?
I think they got him and Schumacher got penalties from the day before. I can't remember for, but both of them.
Yeah,
you know,
they did have penalties.
Okay,
That's just one where I just need to get the slander.
People on Twitter, who's listening to this, at us and let us know who has better racecraft than Alonso.
Yeah, I will beef you personally. I'll be there in the comments.
Do you know what it is? I'd have to look through the archives properly to see about full racecraft and not just race starts. Race starts I can give him because he's cooked to race starts for many years.
I think Prost is up there in racecraft because there's been a many.
Prost wasn't the fastest driver though.
Nah, but just pure racing. The guy would start 15th.
I'm not denying it. I say Alonso's top 5.
He's up there.
Person to ever drive a car, not just Formula 1, just drive a car. But I won't say he's the fastest driver.
No, I didn't say fastest. I'm just talking about just racecraft.
The people he dunked on, he's got better racecraft than him. Clear.
Yeah, but George Russell's good racecraft too. He can be a bit of a bozo, but he's got good racecraft too. And so does Lando. He duppied Lando the next lap. Just duppied.
I would say George Russell doesn't have a bozo. He has he has hot-headedness.
Yeah.
So he loses his rag. He loses his rag easily. Actually, do you know who has better racecraft? Actually, no. Do you know who has better race starts than Alonso? No. You know Verstappen when he's behind Hamilton because he's not letting Hamilton go to the corner first. He will always be like, I'll stick it the entire year.
I can't envision. So let's talk about this controversial situation. You said you got the numbers, the data. You was looking through some data. You woke up this morning,
Okay.
And you said to the streets, that if Alonso was in an equal car to Verstappen, he cooks Verstappen, he wins the race.
Okay. Let me just pull up the tweet. Let me just read the tweet. I wanna, like how on BBC they put the quotes.
I don't want to misquote you. Go on.
Let me just find the tweet. Let me just bear me one second, audience. Bear me 1 second.
This is why Mahad puts the waiting music, like boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, so I said I slept on it and ran the numbers, which I did. But in the same car yesterday, 42 ancient, I didn't say ancient, but emphasis, 42-year-old Fernando Alonso beats Max. And I said it with chest too. Look, let me tell you the reason why. So, my good friend at Former Data Analysis, shout out to that guy. He does some cracking graphs. I don't know what graphs he uses, if it's Excel. I don't know. But them graphs are bare colors and they're good. I like it. Why are you shaking your head for? Let me put my man.
I'm listening. Go on.
Cool. So I spoke to him, and what he's saying is he said this as well. I've got the DMs here, so if you need screenshots, I can provide screenshots. He told me yesterday he believed and looked at numbers that Alonso drove better than Max yesterday. That's what the number said. And also,
can you define what drove better means?
This one I'm going to say. Now, it depends. If we're using transitive property, the Aston Martin was round about 4 to 0.5 seconds a lap slower in delta, to the Red Bull. That's just a general delta. And Alonso was 0.25 to 3/10 slower than Max. And lads, we've all done GCSE maths. Yeah. So if a guy, yeah, and this is just maths, this is just pure numbers. If a guy has a car, okay, that is 4 to 5 tenths slower than another guy, but he's averaging between 0.2 to 3 tenths a lap slower. What does that tell you?
This is just all coincidence. This isn't
Coincidence?
This isn't data that can actually be used.
What do you mean?
Because
What do you mean?
what if Max Verstappen's having a rest?
What do you mean? What do you mean? That's okay.
Why would he drive to the maximum capability when he's dunking with his head?
I knew this would come up, and you just stepped right into my trap. Cool.
Man said I activated my trap card, you know.
Exactly. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I'm right here, bro. I'm holding the card like this as well. I know what I'm doing. Listen. There were periods of that race where Max didn't try as hard. I get that. And that's true. But the only time where Alonso was driving to the fastest or pushing was when when they messed up his stop. Right?
And they gave him 8 seconds on his head.
They gave him, 8 seconds, but it was like a 5-6 second loss. And then obviously he caught the Sainz in 1 lap and dusted him. And then he set the fastest lap. For those, I'd say 6 or 7 laps were the only part of the race where he really pushed, and maybe at the restart as well. But Max also for a similar stint as well, right, was pushing. Remember when he came out the pits and it was like 12 seconds behind Perez, and then was like 2 seconds, 3 seconds a lap faster for the next like 6, 7 laps? So what I'm trying to tell you is, in parts of the race, Alonso didn't push as hard, and Max didn't push as hard for the same part of the race. It's true, because also the radio backs this up, because if you remember, when Alonso came out the pits for the was after, when they went to meet Slicks for the first time, if you remember. I think it was, they went into softs, and then during the radio, you can literally hear his race engineer saying, "Full take care of the rears." Alonso wasn't pushing for around about 20-30 laps at all. There was no push. It was literally tire preservation. And even during that phase, he was marginally, he was quite a bit quicker than Perez, and was only a couple of tenths slower than Max.
Perez
so I'm trying to...
Perez had damage.
It's the same. Perez having damage makes no difference. He's still meaty. But anyway, what I'm trying to tell you is if they were in the same car yesterday, and in my opinion, Alonso was one of the best drivers in change of conditions. And the numbers yesterday especially backed up. So if they were in the same car, in my opinion, he would beat him. Numbers say it. They both pushed.
Can I ask you another question?
Okay.
Do you believe Alonso is better than Max Verstappen?
Right now?
Just in general.
Are you talking about, peak for peak?
Not peak, just I think Max's peak is higher than Alonso's peak now.
You're joking.
That's a closing competition now. That's a close conversation.
You're joking. Man.
No, but we'll talk about that after. Chris, do you want to refute his data?
It's very simple. Man was talking about when Max was pushing, that was on the intermediates. So it's one of those things where Alonso was pushing on a dry track with fresh, soft tires. Of course he was going to be very fast. Max was chilling. Max was in first place, like nothing matters anymore. So that's why the gap is small.
He has a massive pace advantage. Of course he's going to be chilling.
Max is here driving like he doesn't care. He's driving at 90%. He don't care. It was when he was P2 behind Perez, he was like, what's going on here? We're here to rave. This is not how we're going to rave. That's why he started just smoking everyone and showing the full capability of the car. Whereas Alonso, while he might be doing time management, he's driving still at a very fast pace because, he doesn't know what's going on behind him. And it's one thing where it's like, okay, you still have you know, they expect a Ferrari to be there. They expect a Mercedes to come up. They expect something. So it's one where you can't look at this data because without context, your data, I understand it. But with context, it goes out the window because, bro, man is not. You know when man is not driving like the way they're supposed to be driving because they're just far behind.
Chris, again, another trap you're walking into, G, because if you'd watched the two guys that were behind Fernando, right, they were Gasly and Sainz for a good chunk of the race. And during the first stint, Gasly was near enough matching Alonso, and Sainz wasn't too far off as well. He was maybe a 2/10 lap slower, and we know the Ferrari stinks around this circuit because of their setup. But as soon as Alonso needed to push, right, and I think Alonso pitted too early, 3 laps later than Sainz, maybe at the most. It wasn't that much difference. But as soon as Alonso pushed, it was game over. He was driving that
because Sainz went for the undercut. Sainz went for the undercut on Gasly, and
it couldn't have been. It's less than that. I think, maybe at most 4. Was it 6? You sure?
Yeah, Sainz pitted early.
He went. I know he went for the undercut. I don't think it was 6 laps early. But what my point is, what I'm trying to make is, I believe especially in the middle of the race, because Gasly was still 2.5 seconds behind, and then Sainz was only like a second, if that, average behind Gasly for the middle part of the race. But as soon as Alonso pushed, it was wraps for those two behind. Like, and there's no way you can tell me, right, that Gasly was keeping up with Alonso because their pace was the same. Alonso was driving with spare capacity throughout the whole of that tyre stint, and that's one of the reasons why he was able to stay out for so long on those tires, because he wasn't pushing. On the radio, if you listen to it, they were telling him, take care of the race, take care of the race, take care of the race. As soon as Alonso clicked it, he was gone. It wasn't a case of anything. He was just gone. And that's what I'm saying. Max went through periods of the race where he didn't push. I get that. But Alonso didn't push throughout the entire race. At the end of the race, even his engineer said to him when so for the first couple laps of the restart, when Alonso was on him, even though he was only like 1.1 2 seconds behind, his race engineer was telling him, look, take care of second place. And that's why he just backed off. And that's why Perez, who was behind him, closed that gap up, because the gap was 1.5 to 2 seconds between Alonso and Perez, and then it closed up because Alonso backed off. So there was periods in the race where both drivers backed off. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So
if I'm telling you that, this way, Alonso might have been driving at 90%. Max is driving at 70%. Like,
I don't think that's true.
I promise you, because the problem is, yeah, Max has it so easy. He's driving like he don't care. He don't care.
Yeah.
And it's like one point, people are gonna wake up and see this, yeah, because the drivers have noticed this as well. They're like, bro, Max is driving like nothing matters. Like
yeah, it's true. But okay, you say that Max driving like he don't care, but also, especially, and you saw Alonso knows that he's not going to challenge Max in that car. So again, why would he push that hard if he knows P2 is the highest ceiling? Sergio had a 5-second penalty. He was going to finish ahead of him anyway. So like, that's what I'm trying to say. Max didn't push the whole race, but neither really did Alonso for the whole race. There was periods in this time where both drivers needed to cook. And I know you mentioned the point where he said that that Max was in the wet, Alonso was in the dry. But technically, that doesn't make a difference because the average gap it's the average pace. It's relative though. It cancels out if it's wet or dry. If you see what I'm trying to say.
It doesn't, because it's one of those things where in the dry, when you're pushing like that, it's like that second stint where he was pushing like that because they knew it was going to rain again. So it's like, you don't really care. Whereas the intermediate stint, it was like, you have to look after these tires a little bit because you don't know when the tire's going to dry out again.
But I don't think it's much of a big, like a massive stinker or howler that Alonso could beat him. Like, if you put them both in the same car, you don't think there'll be quite a few times that Alonso would beat him during the course of the season in the same car? Is that what we're trying to say? Like,
Alonso's not a better qualifier than him.
No, he's not. And but that doesn't really make a difference. If you're in that fast of a car, you just need to be in P2, essentially. Prost showed us this formula works. Prost showed us this formula works.
I don't think so. If we're talking about specifically in the Red Bull, there's not a chance in the world because this car is suited to Max. The style of driving.
What I'm saying,
the very unstable rear. The way it's set up is for Max's driving style, which is completely different to Alonso's.
What I'm talking about is if they were in the same, not specifically Red Bull, but if they were in the same car, as in, cool, just drop them in any car.
They're both
drop both of them in a Ferrari right now.
They're both in the top, like the top group of drivers. They're in the top 7, so it's not a myth.
I think Hamilton in the same car yesterday challenges beats him. It's not just a Alonso-centric thing. I just believe that.
No, yeah, of course. There's a group of drivers that you put them in Perez's seat. Max has a bit more of definitely has a headache on his hands.
100%.
Like I said, a couple of races ago, you got cooked off the start by Lando. For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
It's not like he's I'm not even trying to say that. What I'm trying to say is yesterday he does not beat Max.
I think he does.
Another cool thing I wanted to say: are the upgrades working? Well, obviously, Aston Martin it's also major upgrades. Are they back on pace?
It's too early to say because this was a perfect storm for Aston Martin. I think a track that would suit them to a T. Lots of fast corners. It's twisty, so we'll see in Monza. But the reason why I'm slightly optimistic for Monza is because it seems now that we have pace in a straight line. It doesn't seem we're too far off in a straight line, so we'll see. But it does look like things are trending back in the right direction. I think from, I would say, Canada onwards, it seemed like there was Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, and then a gap. Then you had Aston Martin. But it seems now that Aston Martin have asserted themselves back into that top 5 mix. So we'll see. Listen, give Nando a good car. He will. I can't say always he's not perfect, but you know what I'm trying to say. He'll 9 times out of 10 cook him. So I'm confident.
I'm telling the streets that just cool off on the Aston Martin hype train. I feel like he was a lot of clean air. He was chilling. He could show the pace. The Mercedes was not in clean air. The McLaren was not in clean air. You didn't really see what pace they had.
I still think the Mercedes. There's that to think about. I think maybe the Mercedes and McLaren might have an edge if they were in clean air and you might see their full potential. But we'll see in Monza. You still got upgrades coming from Monza. You've got upgrades coming for Singapore, and Singapore should be a track where.
Yeah, Singapore's a litmus test for you guys.
And I like Singapore as well. I think it's a great track. I love Singapore. So we'll see. But things turn up right.
Unfortunately, either Oscar or Orlando are winning in Singapore, mate.
Wait. What are you doing at Monza? Are you gonna...
Hey, Monza, I will not be there. I'm not hosting the pod. I ain't watching. I ain't there.
What are you doing?
I will not be there.
Hey, that's your ops home patch, bro. You got.
Nah, man. I want people to understand Ferrari are cooking something because why on earth did they do a low drag setup in Monza, in Holland? Because they're preparing for Monza.
The data collection, is that what they're doing? Yeah.
Low downforce setup in Holland for what reason? Apart from they just wanted to prove they had high top speed.
That doesn't make sense to me. I don't know that I still that yeah. Why of all tracks? Zandvoort is a downforce based track. You need good.
They said no, we don't need downforce because we're going Monza. That's what they said.
I lie, man. But they're not doing niche there, man.
Nah, I
Yeah,
feel
so-
like they're stupid. They'll just do stupid shit, man.
Anyway, to be fair, they did highly cook.
My camera's lagging, but hold on,
Yeah,
carry
yeah.
on talking.
I think what would you say was a low low downforce circuit? They cooked to Azerbaijan, right? With that long straight Ferrari, because Charles got P3 there, innit?
Yeah.
Trying to think of it. Bahrain he looked alright as well, and that's so okay. Maybe they might have something there. Maybe they might have something Ferrari. Maybe. But we'll see. I think Red Bull are going to be clearing away. Mercedes might struggle. McLaren might struggle. But yeah, I think Mercedes and McLaren might be a long weekend for them men right there.
I hope we obviously the thing is we brought upgrades to Holland and then we didn't use them because Oscar crashed and then we saved Orlando as well. So our rear wing we didn't use it yet. So that's just the old car. It's the same car as Spa. So let me see what this wing is saying when we go to.
Hey, Mike crack cocaine said we got bare budget remaining. It's calm.
You lot are going over the budget cap again. When they release them 3 teams, your name is there. I'm telling you right now. Now.
But I think listen, as long as Mercedes and Red Bull are there,
all right, listen. I think if Mercedes Red, I think it's Mercedes Red Bull Aston Martin. It's gonna come out in Singapore again, and then we're gonna have the whole.
If it's Mercedes,
someone's gonna get fired, bro. Somebody has to get
Mercedes,
fired.
They went over budget for the W13. Are you insane? Insane.
All I'm telling you, if it's Mercedes and Red Bull, yeah, I need all of their points deduct, yeah, because Bernard got fired for this shit. He got fired for these man cheating.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Red Bull, they have to be scared because that means Verstappen's title's all Fugazi.
Oh, give me that.
You know how crazy that is. 2021's Fugazi. 2021's Fugazi. 2022 is Fugazi. If they got caught cheating again, 2022 is Fugazi. I don't care.
Hey, a lot of people talk about 2021, you know. Listen, I know it is low key Fugazi, but Max should have some bad luck in 2021. He had some.
Yeah, he did. I did. But over the course, but I'm saying the title is Fugazi because of what happened in the last race. If you have one Fugazi race, the title's Fugazi.
I can't lie. Last year was bad.
So if 2022 they're caught cheating again, it's crazy. Aston Martin, I want them stripped of everything. That's 2 years in a row that you man been doing fuckery.
Stripped of everything. Wait, hey, don't take us 7 podiums away from us.
I'm taking all of that. Take that all away. One brief question for Chris. What's wrong with Sergio Perez? He had a how many second lead? 13-second lead. He was first one on Inters.
He's not better than Max. Like,
is he gained 13 seconds in a couple laps better than that bad? Is he that bad?
But he's not good in the rain. So it's like, what do people want?
I have a theory that if any driver that was near him pitted at the same time I think let's say for example Leclerc pitted at the same time, if he does a normal pit stop, Leclerc, I think Leclerc would be in the lead. I think Leclerc, if they both come out at the same time, I think Leclerc also has Leclerc has a 5-second lead on the 13-second lead.
Mom, I want to. Sorry about that.
Oh, so what the thing about Perez is, him losing out to Max, I don't care. Him finishing P4, brother.
He sped in the pit lane at 0.006. It's the most insignificant amount.
No, because Gasly was even slower,
and he got caught in the pit lane. And obviously he hit the thing as well. Obviously, they said if it wasn't a red flag, he would have broke down on track. He would have been finished. If he didn't sort his car. So that red flag saved him. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, they've done the red flag. He's at the end of the pit lane." Brother, if he went back on that track, he would have been done. It would have been over. It would have been instant DNF.
I needed that.
Crash in the pit lane, DNF.
Yeah,
that's crazy. To have that on your head top is crazy.
Oh, I'm just saying that's happened to certain man before. I'm not gonna name any names.
Oh, allow it, man.
I'm saying I'm not gonna name any names. It's happened to this guy twice as well. Twice.
What David Coulthard?
What we bringing up Coulthard for, brother?
He crushed in the pit lane.
Yeah, I know he did, but I like that.
Every driver that shows their cheeks on Instagram, yeah, I'm cussing you out. I thought all of them, Bottas, Coulthard, any of them guys, bro.
Yeah, listen, Perez.
Is he in danger? Is Perez in danger? Obviously, Danny Rick injured. Get well soon, brother.
Nah, I don't think he's in danger. Helmut Marko, I don't know if I trust him, but
Helmut Marko wants him gone. He wants him gone. But
who has more power about who's deciding who's going in the seat at Red Bull? I think it's Christian. I think Christian's got more power to decide who goes in the Red Bull.
Christian has more power unless the answer is obvious. So with Albon, the answer was obvious. So they had to
Christian Horner, didn't he want Perez in the first place?
Yeah.
He was 50-50. It was more give Albon as much chance as possible.
Helmut Marko was going to put another Ute in there.
Hey, that's a Kia 2020 race. Saved him, bro.
So Mercedes being crap saved him.
Yeah.
No, you have to understand. You have to. You say Mercedes being crap. At the end of the day, he was leaving there with a podium minimum, regardless. From last, after Leclerc tried to kill him.
That's not a real track, man. That doesn't count. That's not a real track.
I want to bring that track back though. So I want to go. When I was in Bahrain, I was trying to look for where the outside ring is. You know what I mean? I was like, that would have been those boring ways to watch. But I wanted to like.
They were doing laps under a minute, under 1 minute. That is not F1.
Anybody that's played Mario Kart, that's Baby Park.
That's Baby Park.
It's just circle.
Baby Park was just
one circle where it just goes around and around.
I was 20 laps the whole way. Yeah,
you could just drift the whole track. That's what that track is.
That track is not a real track.
No, it's a real track, bro.
There's 2 corners.
I know. I personally think he's going to be there for 2024 because at the end of the day, they're absolutely destroying the competition regardless.
But
so
I do think the teams will be close in 2024. If
the teams are closer, they'll just sack him mid-season anyway. But I'm saying at the start of 2024, he'll be there.
Yeah,
he'll be there. I don't. He's just not good enough. He's not. But he technically is because they're number one in the standings. But we all concede it. He's not good enough. We all concede.
Perez was terrible. Just want to.
That's your boy, though. That's your boy.
My boys are anybody that's McLaren.
No, you were defending him in the chat. That's your
Oscar
boy.
Piastri.
Hey, so Mick's your boy.
Piastri, no, the driver, not Mick. Mick is not.
He's the driver. He's
the main reserve driver was Polo. Polo shagged us.
He's left now. It's Mick now.
Listen, it's Hugo.
Hugo.
He's hiring somebody else because Mick can't be our reserve driver. If Lando's immune system lets us down, Mick is driving a race in McLaren. I cannot deal with this. I cannot cope with this. It can't happen. It cannot happen.
What's the issue with the Schumacher name, man? What have they done to you, man? Huh? The Schumacher name is like the Skywalker name in Star Wars, bro.
No.
Yeah,
I'm not respecting them. Was it right? Obviously, the rain started chucking it down again in the race. Red flag because everybody's aquaplaning. Was it a right decision to restart after the red flag, or even red flag it in the first place? Should have just done a safety car thing?
FIA got this one spot on. Like, this is the one time in life I can say they got it. The race director got everything spot on.
There's plenty of time left as well to carry on with the race.
Do you know what's killing me? I got the European GP 2007 flashbacks. Everyone going off at turn 1. Bro. That was giving me flashbacks.
I was praying that it was none of the McLaren drivers that were just aquaplaning. I was just praying for God. I said, "Oh my God, it's Alfa Romeo! Thank God." I was like, "This is not our drivers."
But did you see that Joe's aquaplane? Look, that was
crazy. I felt sorry for him. He was cooking as well.
He was doing well. People.
Actually, he was cooking, and Alfa Romeo decided let's slap mediums on. Absolute sabotage.
Stinkers.
Let's talk about the strategy in the race as well, because there's stinkers going on. Alfa Romeo just decided, let's slap mediums on both our drivers. One of our drivers that was in P2, slap him with mediums.
All right, they're another team that
Medium
might just
stick.
need to go. They might. I know they're coming with, but they just might need to go as well. 'Cause I
That
don't understand.
whoever was it, that Bravi guy that guy that looks like he's in.
No, it's Kwame's boy Seidel, bruv. It's all on Kwame. That's why he's on fraud list, bruv.
Stinkers.
Seidel might have to go to the fraud list. I can't lie. He might have to be there.
AlphaTauri just deciding, you know what, Yuki Tsunoda's doing too well here. Let's sabotage his race for no reason whatsoever. They
50 laps.
For how many laps was he defending against Lando Norris? Man was doing prime defending, elite defending.
That was
in a much slower car. If you look at the data, the car was slow as shit. He was defending.
That was Alonso 05. Alonso 05 Schumacher.
Do you know the defending? The defending got to the point where Lando said, "Fuck it, we're gonna box." Do you know how crazy that is? You told McLaren, "No, we've got a box." Hamilton boxed. Why are you not Why are you not boxing him? You let Yuki Tsunoda go on hard softs for 50 laps.
It's crazy.
Out of 72 laps. Are you insane?
It's crazy.
This is criminal behavior. He was running, what is it, P6 or something like that? This is criminal behavior. You're throwing away points. For what reason?
Bro, I don't.
I don't understand. And then on the other side of things, they just decided we're just going to put Liam Lawson on every tire in the world. Let me get the date. Let me get the thing out. People didn't notice that. Shout out to Liam Lawson for the F1 debut in the most difficult circumstances. Because that's not a normal race.
And he overtook Leclerc as well.
He overtook Max.
Hey,
he overtook Leclerc and he overtook Max.
When he overtook Leclerc, yeah, Ferrari said, yeah, it's time to quit like Daniel Dubois, bro. They took a knee and said, yeah, we're done, bro.
From lap 10 to lap 60, they put Yuki Tsunoda on one tire. Yeah. Within that same time, they put Liam Lawson, lap 17, mediums, lap 46, softs. Just why have you picked this guy 2 times? Why did you only let him go on the mediums for like 20 laps and just said no?
Did you see Yuki's pit?
And they pitted him twice before they pitted Yuki.
Did you see Yuki's pit stop?
And they gave him a slow pit stop. You had better time. You gave Yuki a slow pit stop.
They gave him a slow pit stop, and then Lawson parked up behind him and got a 10-second penalty because he was blocked the Hearts garage. It was a big mess.
Listen, I feel sorry for any driver that's going to be at AlphaTauri next year.
I'm telling you now, yeah.
Because this team is absolute mess. I know they decided we're going to copy Red Bull parts or whatever. I'm saying operationally they're a mess. They don't know what they're doing over there.
They're not good.
Who's that French guy that's on Liam Lawson's radio? He don't have a Scooby. What's going on?
No, allow him. He was Gasly's team radio.
He don't have a Scooby. Why do you think Gasly was all shouting on the radio last year? These men don't have a Scooby. What's going on over there, man?
No, I like him. I don't know why. I just like him, man.
Nah, man.
Drive to Survive warmed me to him. I like him.
Restart went well. Don't think there was any major accidents apart from one guy.
Oh,
Russell. What happened, Chris?
I didn't give enough money at tithe at church, but all the luck in the world has been taken away from him. Because there's
just explain his race.
Okay, so he starts P3, ends up behind Alonso. It is what it is. Then the rain comes down. Him and Mercedes have the howler of trying to brave it out. He pits on lap 4. Then he's at the back on softs, and then they're like, "Yeah, this isn't cooking. We're gonna roll the dice and slap on hard." He slaps on hard and drives a phenomenal race, as in good pace, good time management, overtakes, yada yada yada. Gets his way back into the points, starts falling backward a bit, and then when Hamilton was coming to overtake him, he nearly shot himself and binned it for no reason. But all of that was fine. The rain comes, cool. You're behind your teammate and then behind Lando as well. Restart begins. He dunks on Lando, like great move. Lando tries to come back to have a slight bit of contact. Puncher. Man said, "Yeah, race done. I'm done. I'm going home." And you know,
That was the most defeated sign. He said, "Don't even pit me on the puncher. Just close the race, man. End the race. Retire the
it
car."
was one.
Bro, you know what this is like, and Mahad remember. No painful memories, but remember when like Barcelona played Celtic, they had 89% possession, 28 shots, and scored 0. I think, and then they still lost. That's what George Russell's race was like. Man drove phenomenally well. Like, I've never seen a man have such a good race.
I think the data suggests he was the third fastest car on the track.
Bro, literally. And that's from my guy as well. Shout out to Formula Data Analysis, my guy. But yeah, what I'm telling you, that, bro, he drove a phenomenal race for nothing. It's like the whole world is against the guy. I don't understand. The whole world is against this guy.
The thing is,
He's 50 points behind his teammate.
Oh, we need to talk about that too, actually.
He's getting cooked.
yeah, but he has 3 DNFs to 0. And like 2 of the DNFs haven't got podiums. So it's like, it's one of the ones where you see last year to this season, yeah, George has driven better. He's still slower than Hamilton, but the results are worse. So it's like, last season was a fluke in one direction. This season, a fluke in the other direction. As like, the truth is, you're slower than Hamilton, but the gap isn't 50 points one way or you beating Hamilton by 20 points the other way.
I think, I think some of the, like obviously, the DNF in Australia is not his fault. That's just the engine blowing up.
Canada was his fault.
Canada's his fault. I'm saying this one is his fault, but just chill out, man.
No.
Why are you going toe to toe with Norris? Just chill out, brother. You're gonna overtake him. The Mercedes is faster.
No, because Norris ended up like literally less than a tenth away from Lewis Hamilton in the end.
You would have got him. Lewis, you have to understand, yeah. I know this McLaren. This McLaren cannot overtake a car. It cannot overtake cars. The car is only fast if it's got clean air. If you have to try to overtake somebody, it couldn't overtake an AlphaTauri, bro.
Yeah, but it's one. Do you know what? Do you know the thing about
the DRS don't work?
We have to understand about George as well. He's a hothead. He's there going, I qualified P3. I'm now behind my team.
Why are you going life and death? I reckon if it was a dry race, he would have still gone life and death.
He sees tweets, bruv. He's seeing the tweets. He's seeing the stuff. It's in his head. It's in his head.
What about people giving Lando the plaudits and not him? In his head
is Lando. It's Lando. People, you know, like the Hamilton fans under the posts, yeah, cussing, man. He sees it. I know him. You know someone as vain as him is checking his name on Twitter, bro. He's seeing the slander. So it's one there, like
I've clocked a theory. He jumped to the Tommy Hilfiger thing, and now he's dropping. He's not built for wearing Tommy Hilfiger at Lewis to races, bro. Just just wear what you used to wear back in the day. You'll be fine. Jeans, a t-shirt, and some Vans.
Man said, "Be yourself."
Yeah, be yourself, man. Because
be yourself, brother.
Because this ain't working, bro. He's acting different.
It worked. Because he actually drove well.
It did, but it's just not coming together, man. I told you, Barcelona started 2013. That's what's happening.
No, do you know what he needs to do? He needs to do what he did today. He needs to do what he did in Silverstone. And then he needs to, George Russell fans who are not just me, find God. Because that's what other fandoms are failing to do, and their drivers are stinking, bruv. Like,
hey, low key, your George Russell fan base stinks.
Are terrible people. They're terrible people.
I
don't
know
nothing about Will. They know nothing.
I've actually not listen. Chris is the only George Russell fan I know in person. I know Twitter. I actually don't see them. I don't see their tweets. I don't see nothing. And the reason why is because if Mercedes post a picture of George, you will see 99 Team LH tweets under them. 99, just like
them man was celebrating the puncher. I'm screaming.
But I'm telling you this now,
man.
Lewis fans might hate George a tiny bit more than they hate the thing. I've never seen this from a teammate like this. Like this is unprecedented. The only time I've seen this is Alonso fans or Esteban Ocon. That's it.
No. Do you know what? Do you know what it is? It's because of the whole narrative last year. about George
Yeah.
beating him. That is it.
Yeah.
The same way they hate Jensen Button as well.
Hey, but this is very similar to that era. Remember, like 11, 12, where Button beat him, and then Max.
Yeah, but but me as a McLaren fan at that time, there were certain races that Button cooked it, and that was that's just how it is. Because it's not like Button's a scrub.
Yeah.
But I feel like people feel like, oh, every teammate is a scrub against Lewis Hamilton. They should be seen as a scrub, but they're decent drivers in their own right.
But Button done his thing.
He had scrub teammates. He had Bottas. He had Kovalainen. You get me?
Kovalainen is this.
Kovalainen was an absolute scrub.
He is one of the
like.
Hey,
don't get me mad because I'll start because everybody's talking about 2008 nowadays. Yeah, because of the whole Massa thing, yeah. And I just want to know, yeah, is why we didn't win constructors. And there's a certain gentleman called Kovalainen who decided, yeah, do you know what? I'll call it a day. I'll finish 7th in the driver's standing. 7th. Your team is first. You're 7th in the driver's standing.
He didn't finish. It wasn't 7th. Mahad couldn't win.
Wallahi,
it's
7th. Wallahi, 7th.
It was really bad.
Bro, wallahi, 7th.
It can't.
You know, you look at his
to this day, yeah. Have you ever seen a teammate win a title and their teammate is 7th? People that acted like Perez and all these guys are horrible. Bottas, have you seen a teammate finish 7th?
It is 7, you know.
Horrible.
Bro.
Do you know the funny thing?
Brother. You
look at his race to win.
Brother, how do you finish 7th when you won a race? And that's
because his race was Fugazi. That's the most Fugazi race.
Yeah, because obviously Massa and Hamilton. Yeah, I know.
Hey,
but that's still a podium. The guy only had 2 podiums the whole season. Don't get me mad. Don't get me mad about that guy. But what I'm saying is George Russell's not a scrub. There needs to be an acceptance that George Russell's not a scrub. Same way Button wasn't a scrub. Same way Alonso wasn't a scrub. So you don't really need to hate this guy when he actually outperforms Lewis Hamilton because he's not a scrub.
You need to stop getting triggered by the words of like the media. These man's job is to trigger you to get clicks and get you watching and talking about them.
You shouldn't be insecure. You're Lewis Hamilton 7 World Championships. That's your driver. You shouldn't be insecure about a driver that's got one win.
Listen,
there is the talk about man when he had no wins, no poles, nothing. Man was moving insecure.
It wouldn't be a race weekend without Lewis fans cooking Karun Chandok. Listen, every race weekend it gets cooked. They even try and start on the lengthings.
Leave
Karun
alone. Karun is he doesn't have an F1 career without Red Bull. Do you not understand?
I know.
Of course, he's going to have a bias towards him.
Why are they cooking? They even cook shift this year. Why? Just lower, man. Why are you cooking shift?
Because when things are going down, you got to cook everything. You got you know them man. What was it? Some people like to watch the world burn.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but
you got to watch the world burn when things ain't going well.
Cooking shift, cooking senior citizen Brundle. Brundle's 60. Leave him alone, man.
No. The problem is, they're calling all these men, but not the man at the top, Toto Wolff. He's getting away with all sorts of nonsense. The Mercedes are getting away with all sorts of nonsense. But you're cooking some guy with 1 race win, you know, a woman who did the rubbish in W Series, a guy that was in the HRT in Formula 1. Like,
they'll cook every driver. They're cooking every driver that qualified in front of.
Bro,
they don't like Lando. They don't like Russell. They don't like Albon. They don't like Alonso. They don't. Obviously, you like Lewis Hamilton, whatever. Yeah, but Lewis Hamilton is superior to all these drivers. You don't need to be cooking everybody else. Your guy has 2 titles, man. Please have some shame, man. What's going on? What are we doing?
Your guy has no titles with the most race wins.
Your guy won a race when Blackberry Pearl was still popping. Stop this, man.
And that's a great time. Blackberry Pearl's a great phone as well.
Please, man.
Listen. I'm not gonna buy at that. It's fine. I understand. But what I'm gonna say is, there's too much hate in this world. Lewis Hamilton fans. Listen.
If you got hate, you got hate, man.
It's too much.
No.
I respect it.
I'm a hater.
Listen, you
have to focus it. You have to focus it on the problems in the world.
Do you know? Listen, I don't think Howler fans remember. It was about 3 or 4 hours after AD21. Total Wolf was crowd surfing.
He was moving like me.
They were DMing people saying delete the video.
Bro. And this is the guy, and only now have they started cooking him after this race weekend.
We were cooking him in 2021 during the season on this pod.
Come on, man. Total Wolf. Hey, listen, Total Wolf. I don't know.
All right, guys.
Hey, if that was my driver and I'm going to factory tomorrow. I have to chat to the guy. You know how like in Italy,
Bahrain,
you know like how in Italy, right? I don't know if you saw the picture. Last season we lost away to like some bad teams,
and then you have to talk to the ultras.
Yeah.
Players have to talk to the ultras.
Hey, if that was my driver.
Hey, Toto, go talk to Team LH in the crowd.
Yeah. Go talk to Team LH. Yeah, bro, exactly. That can't run, bro. The ultras have to be. You have to chat to them, man.
Brother, they'll set Toto's houses on fire, bro.
Exactly. Also, they forget, that Toto didn't even want Lewis in the first place. He was like, grab Hulkenberg, he's cheaper. Bro.
Oh Lord.
And didn't he say that Schumacher's to go over him as well? Not too long ago.
Listen, man, we've spoke about we're the leaders of this Toto thing. All these men are jumping on now, man. We spoke about Toto. Guys, we spoke a lot. Got through the pod. Driver of the day. Who's the driver of the weekend? Driver of the day. Let me know. Rafa first.
Oh, you know what I'm going to say. I don't think he had the best of qualifying. I will say that. I do think he might. Then again, I think the red flags might have messed up with, because I think he went up both times, set purple sectors, and then red flag. But for the race, I have to give it to Nano. I think Lewis drove well, really well. I think George obviously drove well, but what happened? And obviously Gasly as well. Shout out to Gasly. That was a that's a good performance from Gasly. And he's also ahead of Ocon in the standings now, which is something I didn't expect. I thought Ocon would I think
because he's the better driver. That's why he's the better driver. Gasly's the better driver. That's why. We'll
see. But yeah, I'm giving it to Alonso.
Those two double DNFs. Yeah, no, the Australia double DNF. Yeah, he'll pay for his crimes for that.
That is
Listen, Gasly was going to outscore him anyway.
That was the funniest picture. You know, that's synchronized swimming. Did you remember them just both on the side, one wheel gone? Nah, that was lovely. I was laughing at it. But I'm giving it to the 42-year-old from Asturias, Spain.
Okay, Chris, driver today.
I'll give it Albon. He flawless weekend. So.
Did no wrong. Got shagged by his team. Strategy.
Yeah, but he's stat pattern though, so I don't know, man. Stat
pattern. I'm giving it to Carlos Sainz because he was in the boat.
I hear it.
You know, I can't do it.
I hear it.
He was in a boat. What's he doing up there? Do you know what it's like? Do you know what it's like? What is a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas? That's what that Ferrari was in the top 5. What was he doing there?
He done well, man. Seriously.
The car was slow. I'm telling you, the car was slow. Look how Leclerc was getting dunked on. The car was slow, man.
I know, but do you know what it is?
Do you know what's so funny, yeah? Leclerc was starting the DRS train. He was the head of the DRS train. That's how slow that Ferrari is.
No. Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? It's the stat that both Alpines have had drivers on the podium and he hasn't. So I'm not giving any credit to his podium.
He's not podium yet.
Chris, we're talking about this weekend.
I know, but it's now just it's
he outperformed his teammate. He got a good result. He is now ahead of him in the standings. He's ahead of Russell in the standings.
Mercedes will pay for their crimes, man.
He is ahead of Russell in the standings, which is crazy when you think about it.
So I think Sainz did a good weekend. I think that's his best weekend of the season. In a situation that's not optimal.
It shouldn't be his best weekend because Australia should have been his best weekend until he decided to rear end Alonso.
You have to understand. Yeah. If it was any other driver that was in that car that did that performance, you'd be rating them. Because you have preconceived notions of science.
It's nothing preconceived.
That's why you're not rating him.
It was just more that Gasly got a podium, and I'm just there. You know what? Yeah, I can't do.
Because you're a Ferrari fan and you want him out, and you want Charles out. You've had enough.
Yeah, I've had enough of both of them.
Exactly. Latifi Award, Chris.
Leclerc, he crashed into Lando, he crashed into Oscar, had damage under the car, crashed in quali, came in the pit without telling anyone. It's actually just horrendous. It was a
Why?
disaster.
What's the narrative of saying, "Oh, he had a crash with Oscar and he's unlucky that his own wing went underneath and damaged his floor"? That's
It's
his
just
own
'cause
problem. It's not the
he's
same.
been-
It's not the same as unlucky as like Max in
Silverstone
last year. It's not the same narrative. It shouldn't be the same narrative. Max was just driving.
They baby him so much, and they're so against Ferrari, and this whole narrative has been built up, and he's got this great PR, but it's like sometimes you just got to tell it as it is. Like when in Spain, the Ferrari just turned around and said there was nothing wrong with the car; he was just crap. And I think this is another one of those weekends where he's just like he was crap. Like the car was not good, but he was crap. And we can't like this way. Sometimes people get on Tim a bit too much, but this was a weekend where you just sit there and just go, this was a generational stinker. Not you what generational driver, you're a generational stinker. And that was him this weekend. Like he made the bad situation worse.
All right, Rafa, Latifi Award. Rafa's disappeared. You don't want to give you stinker for the weekend. All right, my stinker of the weekend is who should I give it to? There was a couple still. I'm not going to give it to Bottas because Bottas had a brazy start. I'm not going to give it to Joe. I'm not going to give it to any. You might have picked it, you know.
Yeah, he's the only guy that had a proper stinker. Like everyone else, you can have there's like a caveat.
Even if you assumed like Hamilton had a stinker in quality, he made up for it in the race.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe Perez.
Oh yeah, Perez. But yeah.
I would say Perez.
Oh wait. Also, you know what? Yeah, Bottas. Yeah, your wet weather skills are atrocious.
No, but he cooked at the beginning, though. He cooked on the race start. Cooked, bro. That opening lap, he cooked.
He did, but do you know what it is? It was in quali where I was looking at it and going, Joe didn't make it through, but it was kind of close. You were nowhere.
That car is not good, man. These man are
No.
tanking, bro.
No. Bottas says it's good to drive. They're just a bit slow. So this is
Good to drive.
so it's like when you're nowhere next to your teammate, even I have to ask questions.
We're gonna ask some more questions in Monza. We're gonna see what teams are about. Nice and long one for you guys to get through the tour. We did speak a lot. But yeah, we will be back next week with a pod reviewing the Italian GP. Peace.
Peace.